Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive on a specific Amazon product, one you might actually be looking at. The ASUS TUF A16 gaming laptop. This is a 16-inch model, FHD, 165 hertz.
Exactly. And we're really going to try and cut through, all the tech specs and the noise from different reviews.
Yeah, just get straight to the point for you, the learner. What does it offer? What are people really saying?
And ultimately, does it seem like a smart purchase? We've got the Amazon listing, lots of customer feedback. Our mission is just to pull out the essentials for you.
All right, let's kick off with the basics then. It's the ASUS TUF A16, 16-inch FHD, 165 hertz gaming laptop. Category is traditional laptops, pretty standard.
Yep. And under the hood, well, there's quite a bit going on. It's got an AMD Ryzen 7735HS processor
Well,
that can boost up to, 4.75 gigahertz, 8 cores, 16 threads. And they actually claim it beats the Intel i7-13620H.
which is saying something.
Yeah.
So for demanding stuff, maybe video editing, things like that, it should hold up.
It suggests it's pretty capable, yeah.
Yeah.
And then for graphics, which is key for gaming, it has a dedicated AMD Radeon RX 7700S. And importantly, it's got 8 gigs of VRAM, dedicated video memory.
8 GB, that's decent.
It is. The listing compares it to an NVIDIA RTX 4060 in performance.
So if that holds true, it should run a lot of modern games quite well then.
It really should, yeah. That's a pretty strong comparison of this kind of laptop.
And the screen, it's 16 inches, full HD.
1920 by 1080 resolution, yeah. So nice and sharp. But the big thing here is the 165 hertz refresh rate.
Which makes everything look smoother, right? Especially games.
Exactly. Fast motion, even just scrolling, makes a big difference. And it has adaptive sync, too, helps stop that annoying screen tearing.
Good, okay, memory.
Loads. It's packed with 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM.
64 gigs, wow. Okay, multitasking shouldn't be an issue.
No, definitely not. DDR5 is the newer, faster stuff, too. And for storage, you're looking at a 1 terabyte SSD, solid-state drive.
Which means fast boot times, apps load quickly.
Super quick. Yeah, we saw a review on a similar model mentioning it was an Intel SSD specifically. And here's something really interesting, a big value point. It apparently comes with a lifetime license for Microsoft Office 2024.
A lifetime license. That's unusual and valuable.
Hugely valuable. But there's a catch, a big warning in the listing. Do not install Office 365.
Ah, right. Because that'll invalidate the lifetime one.
Exactly. So if you need Office, this is a massive plus. You got to follow the instructions carefully.
Got it. What else? Keyboard? Connectivity?
Yep. RGB backlit keyboard so you can customize the lighting. Connectivity-wise, you've got Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth, standard wireless stuff.
And ports?
Plenty. 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C ports.
Those are the faster ones.
Generally, yeah. Gen 2 is faster than Gen 1. And you also get 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A, the standard rectangular ones.
Okay.
Plus an HDMI 2.0 BV for monitors or TVs. And even an RJ45 LAN port if you want that wired internet connection.
Good to have the option. Camera?
Just a standard 720p HD front-facing camera. Fine for video calls.
And size? Weight. Because gaming laptops can be bricks.
Well, this one, dimensionally, it's about 14 inches wide, under an inch thin, but the weight is interesting, 4.85 pounds.
Oh, that's actually pretty light for a 16-inch gaming machine.
It really is, and that came up quite a bit in the customer reviews, people liking the weight.
Right. Any word on what it's made of?
The listing doesn't say specifically, but a review for a similar ASUS TUF model mentioned it was plastic, but felt like good quality plastic, not cheap.
Okay, fair enough. And using it is just like a normal laptop, but faster.
Pretty much. Standard Windows 11 Pro experience, but with the horsepower for gaming and productivity, and all those ports mean you can hook up plenty of peripherals.
Cool. Okay, let's get into the customer reviews then. What's the overall vibe?
Pretty positive overall. It's sitting at 4.3 out of 5 stars from 132 global ratings.
4.3 is solid. What are the main positives people are hitting on?
Speed. That's the big one. 9 different mentions. People consistently say it's super fast, excellent performance.
Like noticeably fast.
Yeah. One person even timed the boot up at around 5 seconds. And downloading, installing software. Also really quick, according to users. So those specs seem to be delivering a genuinely fast experience.
That's great to hear. What else?
Laptop quality itself. 8 mentions there. People feel it's well built, especially considering the price. They mentioned the SSD specifically.
So good build quality for the money.
Exactly. One said, nice build quality at this price point. Another called it a good utilitarian everyday laptop, which suggests it's not just gamers buying it.
Interesting. Practical.
And remember the weight we mentioned, that came up 6 times. People really appreciated how easy it is to carry. Super portable for its size was one comment.
Yeah, for a 16-inch, that's a definite plus.
Value for money also got 6 mentions. Great value, worth the money. One even said superior value. Seems like users feel they're getting a lot of bang for their buck.
Which ties into things like the included Office license, I guess.
Absolutely. And then display quality got 3 positive mentions. Someone liked the great edge-to-edge display.
Okay. And the keyboard.
Also liked 3 mentions, described as great and nice.
Good storage.
The 1 TB SSD was mentioned positively 3 times, too. One person called it a dream, said it provides plenty of storage, which, compared to some other configs you might see, like that similar model with only 8 GB RAM, the 64 GB RAM and 1 TB SSD here stand out.
Right, so lots of positives. Speed, quality for price, lightweight, value, decent screen and keyboard, good storage.
Yep, a lot to like, but it wasn't all perfect.
Okay. What were the main complaints?
Battery life. This seems to be the Achilles heel. 4 negative mentions, and they sound quite serious.
How serious?
Well, several people reported immediate problems. One said the computer was shut off unexpectedly. Another had it overheating and powering down within minutes of use.
Oof, that's not good. Especially for a laptop.
Not good at all. Another person estimated maybe 6 to 7 hours max, even using battery saver mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you need to be unplugged often, this sounds like a significant concern.
Definitely a red flag for portability. Any
Yeah.
other negatives?
Screen brightness? Only one mention, but someone wished it was brighter, especially for using outdoors.
Okay. Minor, but noted.
And on a similar model, someone mentioned the touchpad was just okay, could be better, but wasn't a deal breaker.
Right.
Oh, and also on a similar model review, someone noted that while it was fast for general stuff and lighter games like League of Legends, they felt it might struggle with really demanding modern games at high settings due to VRAM. Now, that review mentioned only 512 millib, which is tiny. This model we're discussing has 8 GB.
Which is much better.
Yeah.
So maybe that specific criticism doesn't fully apply here.
It might not apply as strongly, but it's maybe something for hardcore gamers to keep in mind. It checks specific benchmarks for the RX 7600S 8 GB in the games they really care about.
Fair point. And one last thing from those similar model reviews.
Yeah, no video output through the USB-C ports, apparently.
Okay. So HDMI is your main option for external displays.
Seems like it.
All right, let's try and synthesize all this. Strengths seem pretty clear. Powerful processor, that dedicated Radeon graphics card with 8 GB VRAM. Users are definitely feeling the speed.
Absolutely. And the huge 64 GB of RAM, the fast 1 TB SSD, those are major pluses for performance and storage.
And people consistently like the lightweight design, feel it's good value.
Yeah, the value proposition seems strong, especially with Windows 11 Pro and that lifetime Office license thrown in. That's significant savings right there.
The keyboard and display generally get good marks, too, aside from that one comment about brightness.
Right. But then there's the weakness.
The battery. It's hard to ignore multiple reports of it just dying or shutting down. That's a big potential issue.
It really is. If you need reliability away from a power outlet, this feedback is worrying.
And while the graphics seem capable for most, maybe top-tier AAA gamers wanting max settings should do a bit more homework on that RX 7700S.
Agreed. It's powerful, comparable to a 4060, they say, but verifying performance in specific, demanding titles is always wise if that's your main use case.
Okay, so recommendation time. For you, the learner, what's the takeaway?
Well, look, if battery life is non-negotiable, if you absolutely need something that lasts all day unplugged, maybe dig deeper into those battery reports, or perhaps look elsewhere. The risk seems real based on the feedback.
Yeah.
But if your main focus is getting really strong performance for your money, if you want something fast with plenty of memory and storage for productivity and gaming, and you'll mostly be near an outlet, then this ASUS TUF A16 looks like a really compelling option. The speed people talk about, the comfortable keyboard, the storage, that Office license. It's a lot of positives.
It seems like you're getting a lot of machine for the price, minus that potential battery gamble.
That sums it up pretty well. The user experience, in terms of speed and responsiveness, sounds excellent based on the reviews.
So wrapping up this deep dive on the ASUS TUF A16, it's clearly a powerful laptop for the cost. Fast CPU, lots of RAM, speedy SSD, included software. Users love the speed, the portability.
Definitely. But that battery life issue looms large. It's mentioned often enough to be a genuine concern you need to factor in.
And that really sets up the key question, doesn't it? The contrast between great speed and value versus potentially poor battery life.
Exactly. It forces you to think about the trade-off. What matters most to you? Is that raw performance and feature set worth risking potential battery headaches?
So a final thought for you to consider. If you had to pick one reliable, long battery life or maximum performance and features, which way would you lean for a laptop like this? And why?
Yeah, thinking about how you'd actually use it day to day should really guide that decision.
We hope this deep dive gave you a much clearer picture of the ASUS TUF A16.
Yeah, there's always more digging you can do, maybe specific game benchmarks for that graphics card or checking for any newer reviews addressing the battery. But hopefully this gives you a solid foundation. Thanks for exploring this with us.